We're recording. Hello, my name is Jill Crowson and I am the Director of Income Generation for the Watford Community Fund. Today's discussion is entitled, It's All About the Football, or is it? Today we are talking about collaboration that supported our NHS during the pandemic. I am absolutely delighted that joining me today are Matt Robinson, Head of Retail at Watford Football Club, Andrew McAnemone, who is Deputy Director of HR at Watford General Hospital, and Julian Knight, who is a COVID-19 volunteer. So thank you all for joining me and for joining Watford and Three Rivers Trust today. So Matt, let's start with you. The club and the hospital have been neighbours for very many years, but what did the club do to support the NHS and how did it evolve?
Okay, well, it's quite a long story, really. Actually, I think if we all wound back time to February, and I can remember coming into work, looking at the news, thinking, "Oh, that's terrible, that COVID thing, isn't it?" Oh, look at Italy, look at Spain, and I didn't think it was nothing to do with me, absolutely nothing to do with me. Sitting at home, going to the pub, my normal routine. And I think it happened within probably about a week. We went from, well, I certainly went from having that apathy about it doesn't affect me, this doesn't affect me, to holy cow, we're on lockdown. And we went rapidly from being a normal society to being this society that was, we'd gone into lockdown. And this is me talking personally, this isn't a work thing at the time. And then suddenly we were all evicted from work in a nice roundabout way, that go and work from home, So, which I did for a week, and I did my half-an-hour walk every day or whatever it was, and then thought, I can't do this. This isn't me. Knowing in the back of my mind that we'd already run an initiative called Watford at Home, where we were reaching out to the community and making sure, what we regarded as potentially our vulnerable fans and supporters, and maybe the people that, mobility problems or income problems, that they were still being connected with the club. And that might have been a phone call or a letter. And we were doing that as a club. Then I think it was I think it's probably one of our directors who just said, we need to support the hospital. The obvious thing was we are so close. There's obviously no football club in the country, I don't think, that is as close to a hospital as we are with Andrew and his team. Well, we are back-to-back neighbours. It was evident as well that there was going to be a potential problem within the NHS. Potential, I say. So I think we jumped in via Glyn, wasn't it? Glyn, who is very much a doer for the club. Glyn's one of the senior managers here with me. He jumped straight in. I think he had a number of meetings with you, Andrew, doesn't he? And just said, "What do you need?" So what did we do? I think we just offered everything up to you, Andrew. We said, "What do you need? You can have everything you want apart from play football on the pitch." So yep. We went down that route, and if I can recall it, I think it started off with some meeting space, then some training space. Then we quickly moved on to doing a food offering, and it wasn't just a food offering. We were doing 1,500 meals a day, breakfast and lunch. Then we had we opened everything up in this side of the stadium where I'm sitting now, which is the Graham Taylor stand, one of our posh restaurants called the Gallery, which luckily I have had a meal in there, which didn't cost me, but it would cost a paying fan many hundreds of pounds to come and watch a game. So we regarded it as a bit of an exclusive lounge, but Glyn being Glyn said, "No, you can have it." So that was opened up as just a chill out, an area where people could go and sit and relax, stare at the pitch, have a bit of a natter, have a tea and a coffee and a bit of cake, and I think it was turned into the Sanctuary, Andrew, wasn't it? And it's sort of renamed the Sanctuary. So by this time, we're doing this massive food operation, obviously, which Julian will touch on in a minute. And add in a couple of other things. We converted our executive boxes into bedrooms, so doctors and whoever that needed it could get some rest at night. We had showers, we had memorial rooms, we had counselling rooms. Pretty much everything on this side of the stadium where I'm sitting today. I think it was no holds barred either. It wasn't very much we were very protective of our space at all. I think it was very much felt from my point was that it was very much is what do you need us to do, and we'll make every effort to do it for you, and I think we did. So, and I think in those early days when we thought, right, we're going to do a food offering, we put a call out to our fan base through Hornets at Home. We put this call out saying, if we need some volunteers. If you'd like to volunteer, contact this number. And I think at that stage, we didn't really know where we were going with this, actually. We knew we were probably going to do a food offering. We didn't know whether that was going to be 50 people a day, 100 people a day. As I already said, it exploded into a massive military operation of serving food. So we put a call out to our fan base, and luckily we had many people, Julian being one of them, who came running back to us saying, I'd love to help. So my connection, really taking Andrew aside at the moment with Julian, is that I offered myself for any service, and I think the HR, Gail, who works our HR manager, said, oh, can you do 2 days? And I said, I'll do any day, I'll do any day. So I did 2 days the first week, and I thought, no, I need to do more than this. I need to do more than this. So I ended up doing 14 weeks, I think, of 6 days a week, 6 in the morning till 5 at night. Plus I had my normal job to do. So I became a robot for 14 weeks. But within that 14 weeks, it was probably, how can I explain? It's probably the best thing I've done. Probably, other than sort of social activity, it's probably the best thing and the most heartwarming, most fulfilling thing I have ever done in my life. And I think why? Because I like to chat, I like to talk to people. And then suddenly I was out my normal routine, and suddenly there's 50, 55 volunteers turn up, and Julian will expand on this, but 55 peoples with the same common target, really, which was probably about giving something back, but also getting something out of it themselves as well. I think in the early days, this wasn't evident. There was a whole bunch of us. There was probably 15 to 20 a day, Julian, weren't there? We were, the early days were, well, we don't really know what we're doing here, but we know we've got to serve some food in a bit. And, week 2, it was a bit better. Week 3, even better. And we'd nailed it by week 4. So we'd got this process and this system of an early morning start, 500 breakfasts, and then 12 to 1,500 lunches every day. And I'd say, Julian, after about sort of 3 weeks, we'd got a pretty clean machine going there, didn't we? And it was pretty good. Arguably, if we were a business, we probably wouldn't have had it so smooth, because we had a lot of very generous offer of labour of people to turn up from the volunteers. So I just keep talking because I've
yeah, no, that's fine.
That's fine.
If anybody wants to chip in.
I'll back into what Matt said, really. I mean, I was furloughed from work, and so I'd worked at home to the end of March, and I mean, I did a few weeks. Obviously, still doing people shopping on the estate where I live and looking after my mum. But I'd nailed that down to a fine art after a few weeks, and I needed to actually fulfil some of these hours that, to get out of the house. And I'd obviously, having worked on match days, which I do at the football ground, I obviously heard of the scheme being started up. And so through sort of a couple of my contacts at the club, I've sort of just said, look, I need to get involved with this. Can I help? And I was directed to the ticket office manager, I think Dave Newman, who was basically the admin for it. And so, yeah, I got in. I must admit, from being in a lockdown situation and doing that very first shift when, you know, you were particularly wary of social distancing, to have all of a sudden feeding 1,000 lunches to nurses, all of a sudden it aided my worry of social distancing, because you'd got all these hospital staff that obviously had been tested, were very, very well, and it actually gave me personal confidence that actually the world wasn't as scary as maybe as we were thinking it would be. And the team that was there, I mean, there was all sorts of people of a wide age spectrum, you know, from you know, people that we see off the TV to a couple of young lads that I'd coached at football who were helping out and worked up at Harry Potter. It was a complete diverse group that were mucking in. And as Matt said, by week 3, 4, everybody knew their job, everybody was doing it. And at the end of every shift, it was ready for the next day. So it certainly aided me to keep fit, because I'd never walked so many steps in 8 hours. But it was giving something back, you know, even for whatever little bit I did or we did as a team, you just felt I've contributed a very small amount to help get through this awful situation. And, you know, yeah, I'll agree with what Matt says. It's probably one of the most, well, more than definitely one of the most rewarding things I've ever done.
I want to get you a bit of an insight from the hospital in terms of what that was like.
Yeah.
I think I'd only just started at the hospital the week before this started, and just basing on what Matt was describing there, I was asked to go and visit the hospital to find out, because we were told they wanted to help, but I didn't expect it to be in this kind of grand scale that it ended up being. You got to remember, we were in the middle of the peak pandemic period at that time. It was really quite bad. We'd already lost a couple of staff at that time, and we were highlighted in the press as being one of the highest COVID hospitals in the country at that time. So the pressures were fairly significant at Watford General at that time. I just started. I met with the club, and Matt's right. What was offered was everything. Almost everything. What can you make with this stadium, which was more than I was expecting to discuss when I went across at the time. But the impact on our staff has been overwhelming and continues to be discussed on an almost day-by-day basis. In fact, it's been so popular and so successful, it's now created a significant dilemma for us as an NHS organisation, because we had the sanctuary and the food, the counselling rooms. The expectation is to try and recreate those facilities on the hospital site. And with the greatest respect to the NHS trust that I work for, if anyone's seen the hospital site at West Herts and Watford in particular, it needs a bit of work, is what I would say. So you go from Watford General across to the luxury of the football stadium. And the thing that resonated most with our staff was, one of the big problems we had with our staff was they were not taking breaks. And one of the reasons behind that is, if you work in a COVID isolated area, it's a blooming nightmare to get your PPE off, all of it, and back on again. By the time you get it off, your break's finished. Or by the time you get it off and try and put it back on again, your break's gone. So we extended breaks for our clinical staff, and the incentive was you get to go to the football club, and it worked on every single level. And Matt and Dan are saying it took 3 weeks. I think they got it nailed within the first day, if not the first 2 days.
It's probably I say it's probably 4 or 5 days, because the first day we opened the doors, we literally didn't know whether it was going to be. We didn't even discuss it. Is it going to be 50 mils or 100 mils? It was
I had no idea.
750 first day, and we thought, oh my word.
Yeah, when I was worried that people wouldn't turn up, people wouldn't take advantage of it, and very, very quickly word spread. So then we had the buses coming from other sites. And you know, the funny thing is, we've looked at the absence levels at the hospital when the football club doors opened. It went down significantly.
Wow.
People wanted to come back to work so they could taste the fantastic breakfast and experience what was on offer, because it had significant positive knock-on effects. People still talk about it, as I say. People are still really grateful. I think where it really peaked, I mean, it was fantastic throughout, but when we did the clap for the club and the memorial service in the stadium, I think that's when both the club and the trust came together completely as one on both those occasions. And those were really well managed, really well received. And I think probably for the clap for the club, we probably had about 800, if not more, staff behind the goals in the stand.
It was a phenomenal day, wasn't it? Phenomenal.
Yeah, and I think that's probably when the football club staff and the volunteers especially realised what a wonderful job they'd done for the NHS. I mean, we are still in quite a difficult position in the hospital. What we don't want to do is lose the partnership arrangements with the football club. There's still been ongoing things we get involved in together up until only a few days ago. And my challenge now is, unfortunately, is trying to, as I say, recreate those facilities here. We are building a new hospital in the next 4 years. We've been given the money for that, we've got nearly £600 million for that. So that's good news for us. And what it's done is focus us and the leaders of this organisation that good partnership arrangements with somebody so close and somebody so, a community leader such as the football club and the hospital, but also we need to look after our staff. Well-being is really, really important, and it will be one of the priorities with the new building that takes place. And between now and the new building in 4 or 5 years' time, we're now starting to, I've finished off plans for a new outdoor area, hopefully before Christmas time, and new indoor areas and refurbishments. And I suspect none of these things would have happened if it hadn't been for the offer of the football club and the facilities they provided us. They gave us the kick up the backside that we needed, and they gave support to our staff for 10 weeks, which I don't think will ever be forgotten.
I'm sure it will.
Just to echo what Andrew says there as well, I think I work at a football club, and actually we're a business. We're in the entertainment business, so we invite people to come, and we charge people to come to the ground, and they pay 25 quid, 30 quid, or many hundreds, and we entertain people, and that's hopefully with some nice food and some nice wine, but also potentially some football on the pitch that makes you feel good. So you go home at the end of the day thinking, I've enjoyed today. So now, obviously a hospital, I'd imagine, because I've never worked at a hospital, it's a different sector, isn't it? So we're in the entertainment business. You're probably at the other end of the spectrum of being entertaining. Yeah. But I think,
sometimes.
Well, yeah, of course it is, yeah. But I think, for the first few days, I stood at the front door and said hello to everybody. And I said, hello, how are you? Good afternoon. How you doing? About 2,500 times a day. So not only was I doing 30,000 steps, I'd go home hoarse every night. So I think, when Andrew was describing there, people coming off the COVID wards, and you could see the marks where they had PP on so tight, and it marks across here. And just to have a chat with somebody and say, hey, you doing all right? How's your day been? Or talk to them about what's on the menu today. It is evident, we all need that in life, not just NHS stuff. We all need somebody to say, how you doing? And we all need time to take time out to, as I stay here, there's nothing like watching grass grow. And we did for 10 weeks, didn't we? Because we were watching the grass grow. And it says we all, as I say, we need time away from our job, and we need somebody sometime just to recognise us, not all the time, but sometimes just to say, thanks a lot, move on. I need that. Julian needs that, and we all need it, don't we? So I think a couple of things we did miss out was the maternity unit as well, which is still, still going over in the far corner of the stadium I'm staring at. We had the admin hub here as well. So it was a full functioning hospital effectively without actually treating any patients here. But and it was the scrubs as well. Remember the scrubs we were doing?
Yeah. So there was
1,000 pairs of scrubs a day we were cleaning as well.
Yeah, it was an extension to their hospital. I mean, I think there's a lot to be proud of the maternity facilities, because that really was a difficult situation for mums or expectant mothers locally who were nervous about coming on site. I mean, that nervousness is gone more or less now, because we're now running out of beds on a daily basis. But that nervousness was there, significantly there, and we weren't able to get to our expected mothers. For the football club to, again, it was one of those, can we? A bit of reluctance when we ask, but never did you guys say no. I don't think at any time did you say no. And if it was a problem, we'll find a solution to it. And the maternity one that really is fantastic, because the mothers are really grateful for the local community to be able to be looked after in such lovely surroundings, but also not having the anxiety of having to come on to an acute hospital site, which is difficult. I've worked in the NHS for nearly 25 years. It's not everyone finds it comfortable coming into a hospital environment. It can be quite nerve-wracking, but I'm used to it by now, I suppose. So to be able to come in near the hospital, so you know you're safe, but in a nice environment and still be there, has been really fantastic. And I just want to mention the volunteers. Some of the volunteers had some really challenging stories to tell about relatives, about their experiences with COVID. So there was an awful lot of good interaction between the volunteers who were working, serving the food, and also dealing with the doctors and some of the nursing staff and other staff who had supported them and their relatives. It really was a good, positive mix when they pulled it together.
I think, but I echo that again, Andrew. You know, there's people I've made friendships out of here as well. With, you know, there's two girls I meet for lunch with once a week from your hospital site, and one's an absolutely massive Watford fan. So she wants every little bit of gossip, but I love it. And actually, you don't know this, but I won't name them, but you might know who they are. But they were the first two people in the world to receive the new home shirt last week. So I had lunch in your canteen across the way, and I met the two girls and presented them with the shirt. So no, you don't know that, Julian, by the way, but you weren't first.
I haven't worn mine yet, but I've tried it on. But I must admit, Matt, the white one is fantastic. I do like that.
I love the white one.
I do. That's
on that note, a little bit of advertising there.
Hey.
That's the kids' one, though.
Yeah, no, that will be a purchase. Definitely going to get the white one. Yeah, loved it.
Just on the volunteers as well, because I think Andrew was starting to talk about it, but I think what blew me away was, you know, I was being paid. I have not had to take a pay cut. The club made it clear that we're all in this together, and everyone will be paid. No one will be furloughed. But I knew that wasn't the situation for many people, as Julian's touched on, that there were people who turned up and they'd just been made redundant. There were people who were furloughed, didn't know what the future looked like. And these people turned up, Julian included, every day, 2 days a week, 3 days a week. I had people did 12 weeks of 5 days a week, volunteering 6:30 in the morning till 5, and they wanted to stay on and do more. It blew me away, absolutely blew me away. And I think that's what brings people together. That actually, when I was sitting at home at 7 o'clock every night, opening my one beer or so, it was absolutely humbling, and I just felt so good. And I'm not embarrassed to say that, because it made me feel good doing what I was doing. We met. I would have met Julian probably. I knew Andrew before a little bit. But it was people from every walks of life who turned up here, and it didn't matter. Andrew said we had, or was it Julian was saying, we had TV presenters, radio presenters, football commentators. There was one guy, super guy, again, I won't name him, but just a great laugh, really nice. You know, a week later, I found out he's like a multi-millionaire. He's got a property here, property there, a boat here. He wasn't offering this information up to me. He was just here to clean trays and wipe tables. And I just thought, absolutely amazing. You remember the two ladies, you know, the hairdressers who, you know, they didn't know where their business was going to go, but they rocked up here every day. I think it gave everybody a purpose as well. We could have sat at home and worried about it. And I know it wasn't everybody's cup of tea, and it shouldn't be, but it just made me feel really good. It felt that I was making, you know, adding my part, and it made me feel good. I like to chat, but I've been in communication with many of the volunteers. Well, all actually a few times, haven't I, Julian?
Yeah.
That's about, I think there was about 50 of you as well who worked this site, and I've been in connection about a variety of things. About we're all going to go for a drink soon, and you know, a couple of emails I've sent to everybody, and I got a reply back from everybody. And can I read some of the replies out to you?
Yeah, please.
Because again, I'll name no names, but great to hear from you, Matt. Thanks for taking the time. Blah, blah. They were really special days working for the NHS and the GT stand. I'll never forget the experience. So humbling and so satisfying. The group we put together was superb. No egos, and everyone there for the right reason. Brilliant. I'll read a couple more out, but I had 50 of these responses. It was a privilege to be part of the volunteering team. It was great to be able to give something back, just a small something to the wonderful NHS. This week, I sent this a week after we'd finished, well, most people. This week seems quite hollow without it, I'll be honest. I bumped into fellow floor tray man cleaner. I mentioned him Sainsbury's, and he had the exact same feeling as mine. We all made a great team, and I certainly look forward to catching up soon. Just a couple more, because they made you fill up when you were reading these all the time. Thanks for the wonderful experience. I really enjoyed my time. It's great to meet so many people. It's great to see a club whose staff and players have so much passion, which is extended to the wider community. The club have done something truly amazing and shown how football can come together during a crisis. I hope this translates when the season restarts. One more, last one. What a moment in time. We have been part of something so very special. Volunteering at Watford, I can honestly say I've never been prouder of our club and our hospital. Watford has been part of my family for generations, and the sense of family has always been strong. Through thick and thin over the years, the fans haven't walked away, and so I'm thankful to be one who's had the opportunity to serve food to the hospital that's taken care of so many of my own family members, mostly through birth and death. I found it very moving indeed. I've got 50 of those, and they all say the same thing, everything.
That's just amazing, absolutely amazing. For me, I was stuck indoors and hated every second of the fact that I could not get out there and do anything. I had to shield, and that's absolutely fine. But when I first started shielding, I thought I was ill. I presumed I was ill. I started acting like I was ill, and then my husband said to me, "What on earth's the matter with you? You've been ill for donkey's years. Why are you acting like it now?" And oh yeah, I'm not really ill. I just got to stay indoors. So we were able to turn it around then, and actually, he didn't have to shield, but he did shield to keep me safe. So we had a fantastic time indoors. All our four walls are now a different colour than they were when we first went into lockdown. So that's absolutely wonderful. We relived music, lots of music from our youth, and working out which bands we'd been to see and things like that. So we had a great time indoors, missing all the family, of course, but we still had a great time indoors. But then we would watch TV, and we did the daily updates. That was fine. That kept us posted. And then we would listen to the news. Well, if I had my way, news would be taken off of mainstream TV forever, because they just brought everybody down. Absolutely, every day they brought everybody down. They only focused on bad things, and they focused on the NHS a lot, and that's good, but only on bad stuff. You know, so social media came alive with people like you guys doing all these wonderful things. All the volunteers that we were administering down at W3RT that were doing the food parcels, delivering meals out into the community every day, collecting medicines, things like that, just boosted us up again. So we cut out the news totally. We haven't had a newspaper since the middle of March, apart from the day after the Arsenal match, but we won't go there. That's the only newspaper we've had, and we have just focused on what's going on in the world, what people are doing, and what the community's been doing. And it was just absolutely wonderful, absolutely wonderful. So I am pleased that I'm able to still be working within the community, but from home. So that has been really great. I got phone calls. I had a local councillor phone me and ask if I was all right. So I politely told him, yes, that's fine. Don't bother trying that one again. Luther Blissett phoned me. He tried to pretend he was Stuart Scullion, but that didn't work. So I told him that I was absolutely fine, and no, I wouldn't bake for him, and he could go away and concentrate on people that needed the phone calls more than me. So lots of things were going on in our lives, even though we couldn't be outside taking part. So I'm really grateful for you guys for what you were doing, for making it okay for us being stuck indoors, because otherwise we'd have just been sitting there thinking, this is it, put my nose out the door, I'm dead, you know. And no, I haven't got time to go anyway, I'm much too busy, Julian knows that. But, you know, it really made such a difference, and if it's made that difference to me, it's made that difference to an awful lot of people out there, what you were all doing. So that's just incredible, just incredible.
I think every single member of the 50-55 volunteers, and we had staff from the club volunteering as well, myself example, we know that we obviously we turned up because I'd like to think there's something in us that has we have empathy, and we want to help change things in life, and that's why I certainly was there. So we know not everyone could make it. We know some people were staying at home and actually helping the cause by doing that. So we were doing it for you as well, for those people who probably wanted to be there but knew it was better that they were at home. So we knew that we were privileged. We're privileged that we could actually get out of bed and do our little bit.
Wonderful, just wonderful.
Yeah, totally privileged. It was a privilege. Having been a fan for, well, next year will be my 50th season of watching Watford and how the stadium has changed. But one thing has not changed in 50 years is the fact that the hospital is still next door. And as Matt, as Andrew said, you probably, I would go and see, my grandchildren being born, my son being born. Obviously, all people when they've been unwell. I've had more good stories when people have come out of hospital than stories of maybe when we've had to say goodbye. So much good service we've received, and it just wasn't a chore to do what we'd done. It was, and even in between the quiet times, the reflective times at the ground, where you'd have a breakfast and then you had a lull, and then went to lunch and you cleared up and then you had a lull. It was just the sitting in a place of quite solitude, actually, when there's nobody in the football ground, and just being at peace and being thankful to be there, and being thankful that we were able to help, and turning a negative into a positive, which I think you adhered to, Jill.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I think on behalf of the Trust and Watford General Hospital, I think the staff will always be eternally grateful for everything the club did for us.
Yeah, I think we'll take that. you know, it's nice when people recognise what you do, but I don't think any of us went into doing this to get a pat on the back. What I did, you know, as I said, I was able to sit on my sofa at 8 o'clock at night and contemplate, and as I said, have a beer and think, yeah, it's all right today, that, wasn't it? Then I don't my laptop.
But you think what those people were coming across, having a lunch, having a breakfast and lunch, what they were going back to was pretty horrific. At that time, it was really tough. It's still tough. It's tough at the moment because we're not allowed air conditioning. The weather's been quite warm in the last 2 weeks, and you want to try wearing full PPE outfits with no air conditioning. It's difficult for the staff but it's a different set of circumstance we've got now. But at that time, it was to get that break, to get, as Julian says, to be able to get that escape and ability to sit and reflect, watch the grass grow, and just forget about things, even for half an hour, was really, really valuable, and we're really grateful for that.
Can I just bring in another couple of events? Andrew touched on one, but near the end of what we were doing here, the hospital held a memorial service in the stand here, in the Rookery stand, and I think about 1,000 people came, didn't they, Andrew?
Yeah,
it was a service to remember, unfortunately, the staff who had passed away through COVID from the hospital, and you know, it's you don't put your hand up to come to those things. You know you have to, because it's the right thing to do. And I remember helping guide all the people in. I think we were all there, Julian, helping socially distance every third or fourth seat. And I stood at the back, and I had to turn away because it was an emotional day. And I think that was a poignant time when it was a reality of what the team in the hospital were going through. You know, we were serving them a meal, going home feeling satisfied about what we were doing, but what they were doing is just unbelievable. And I don't think, you know, I think touching on the media thing, that it didn't quite get through that, did it? You know, the rubbish got through. Oh, there's not enough PPE and all of that, but actually, the reality of being on the front line, heartbreaking. Yeah. And on the second event, which we did touch on, which was right at the end, when the hospital again came back to the stadium, and again about 800, 1,000 staff did a clap for the club. And I'll be honest with you, I thought, oh God, this is going to be cheesy. I thought, this isn't this. I can't do this. This is not for me. Anyway, I led everybody out, and I stood in the corner. But oh my God, what a half an hour or whatever it was. Was it 40 minutes, Andrew? It was amazing.
About half an hour, including singing.
Singing, and it was real. It was real though, wasn't it? It wasn't cheesy. Yeah, I think it was genuine.
But I think when you got the standing ovation when you came out, that was not engineered at all. That was a genuine reaction from the staff. Yeah.
Were you there that day, Julian?
I was. Yeah, it was seeing. Yeah. I worked the last shift, and it was great for people that had worked on other shifts that maybe they were doing all different days that you did, and everybody come in on that day to sort of for the final lunch, and then to obviously be involved with it. It was people that we'd seen maybe the first week and then hadn't seen them for 5 or 6 weeks that we caught up with again, and you know, we had a little social afterwards, didn't we?
We did, yeah.
Which I didn't forget.
Socially distanced social, wasn't it?
Socially distanced with just cracking one bottle top off you. No more than one, rest assured.
I understand.
That was the best bottle I'd drunk for a long time, just to say thank you to Watford and thank you to the NHS.
So did you notice the member of staff that had the scrubs in Watford colours in the front row?
Yes.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah. the video for that, it's amazing, actually, isn't it?
Yeah.
The video is just. Yeah.
I saw that video on social media. Probably not the whole video, just some of it. And I was crying. I was absolutely crying. And then I saw Julian.
Yeah, I get everyone where Jill, you know that.
But then I saw lots more people that I knew as well.
I thought you were going to say people you like.
I just felt envious that I hadn't been able to come down and join you all. But yeah, no, just amazing, incredible.
I think as well. Also, we never. No, neither party went out of their way to say, "Oh, look what we're doing! Look how good we're doing!" or "Look at our relationship." No, nobody did it. We just gone and did it for 10 weeks really before, any sniff of any media turned up, and I think it jumped to quite national coverage and on many a platform, and but we'd been doing this for weeks and weeks, so this wasn't about Watford or the NHS almost. It's just about a partnership, a thing you should do, the right thing to do.
Doing the right thing.
Yeah.
That was it.
Yeah. So for you, Julian, I mean, obviously not something that you were used to doing.
Yeah.
Did you feel right away that you were making a difference?
Well, yeah, I felt quite confident that I'd be able to help because I'm a people person. So I just thought, even if I can't cook really, that's about, I'm hell of a good washer-upper, and which is what I put. Just give me a job I'm good at. So yeah, I knew there would be a task that I would be able to do and fulfil. So yeah, I think, as I touched on, the immenseness, I couldn't really grasp the immenseness of it until I'd worked that first shift and just how big an operation was. But it was something, having not been my sort of comfort zone whatsoever as such, but the fact that it was just great. All you had to say, as Matt was saying, at the end of when people walked out, I hope you have a good afternoon. I hope everything's good, and look forward to seeing you tomorrow. And that's all they appreciated. And just say hi, and literally taking someone's tray from them, wiping their table, making sure there was a chair for them. Just those tiny little bits made everything perfect. And the very last day, the amount of people that said to me, "I'm going to miss this. I'm really going to miss this. It's been wonderful." And that was probably said to me over 100 times in the last day by different people.
Amazing. Amazing. So what sort of meals were you serving?
Best sausage you could ever get. That was the Cumberland. Everyone talks about the Cumberland sausage for breakfast. The breakfast was, I mean, the Thai
full
green,
English, wasn't it?
The full English breakfast, the Thai green curry were the two favourites.
Yeah. So it is. I mean, what was? I mean, the team here. I mean, as I said, there were volunteers also from the club, and this side of the stadium in the hospitality. There's a firm called F3, and I'll name check 3 of them on here. So it's Stuart, Stacey, and Steve, who all work for F3. They volunteered for the full amount. They don't work for the club, but they work alongside the club, and they were the food operation. So they, incredible what they did, incredible. But the food, as Andrew said, the Thai chicken curry was pretty popular, wasn't it? But we had fish and chips every Friday. I think there's 3 or 4 choices every day. We had some beautiful fish every day, didn't we? We had sea bass, bream. It's quality food done on a very big scale. We did have some scary moments, which we kept quiet about when we'd run out of food with an hour to go. So we found stuff to get out, and it looked the same. So, but very good. Everyone came out.
Everyone loved it.
Yeah.
And the chocolate bars, Matt, those penguin bars from Aldi that we had so many boxes of that we were throwing members of staff. Can you take these boxes back? By the end of it, you had to get rid of them. I shall never forget those red chocolate bars. Seal bars.
Which is a faux penguin bar.
They were the be all and end all. They were everywhere in the football club.
I think also in the food operation, though, we got to remember also we had many generous donations from businesses, individuals, national companies, local companies who, another part above me. There's a very long corridor under the stand, which was full of donated products, of whether it be drinks, it'd be luxury chocolates or skincare, and it was phenomenal, Andrew, wasn't it? And you know,
Yeah,
Andrew's
we had
team
degrees from Wenzel's.
Yeah, oh, Wenzel's. Yeah, I got that sorted. So we had donuts and what was it? What's the other thing? Fairy cake every day. Yeah.
Yeah, every day delivered to the isolation areas, and the Himalayan rock salt that we had that we couldn't get rid of either. But somebody eventually took it.
But yeah, so you know, we were luckily it was the Moore Park Residents Association at the Times did some bakes for us, phenomenal. So it was you know, they were turning up with beautifully crafted individual cakes and decorated and wrapped beautifully, and everyone was blown away by them, absolutely blown away. Donations from, you know, the big drinks companies, phenomenal, really was.
As a community, we're a great community. And I know that goes throughout the country. It's not just Watford, but we're all based in Watford. I've never left Watford since the day I was born. So, you know, we are an amazing community, and it does make you proud when you see what everybody is doing. It does make you proud. So, yeah, and maybe you'll get some new season ticket holders coming through from the hospital.
I think we have, because
I would think you already have that already.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, go back to what, you know, sitting having your lunch by yourself and watching the grass grow. There's something very satisfying about that. There's also something satisfying. We'll talk to people and say, "Oh, I'm not interested in football. I'm not interested in football," and you go, well, you know, you should give it a go, because it's about entertainment. The culture of coming to a football game. And I know Andrew takes his boys to football, but you know, the excitement. I remember when I was a kid, you get up in the morning, you're excited, you go with your dad, and as you get a bit older, that might go from an orange juice to a pint and a pie, and then the winning, great, you know, the losing, not so great, but the discussion afterwards, it's a fabulous experience. And, you know, one thing we work hard at this club is making sure that football is for everybody. You know, we work under what we call Watford Welcomes and our We campaign, and it is about making football available, regardless of who you are, what you are. You can come and watch football and be safe and enjoy it. And it goes back to that. So, but yes, I'm pretty sure we have some new fans that we could say, actually, come and have a look at football. It's good fun. It's a good day out.
Yeah. Well, there's likely to be some season tickets available, because there'll be all those people that only wanted their season ticket to watch the top 6 teams.
Good point.
They won't renew.
Good point. Yeah.
Okay.
But I think it'd be lovely that, you know, that in 3 months' time we've got a full stadium again, and then I'm sure that with you know, Andrew and Julian's connection, I will make sure this happens, that we all get together and we all come and have a glass of wine and watch a game and do something when we can. We will do that, because that's what it's about. We all like people. We like being around people. We like chatting to people. We like having a bit of a laugh, finding about people, and that's what makes human beings tick, doesn't it? Really.
Yeah.
So,
That would be great, especially if we can coincide it with the Coventry match. That would be really good.
oh yeah, don't worry about that. Yeah. As I found out, there's 2 Coventry. We even have a Coventry fan here who sits next to me in the office. Crazy man.
I'm looking forward to the Brentford match, because Brentford is my second team.
We'll find out tomorrow morning, won't we?
We will, won't we?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, we will. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, we're not going to talk about football though. That's not what we're here for, even if we are all football fans.
Yeah.
Okay, so Andrew, for you,
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, it was equally as bad for you as the frontline staff, but for different reasons. Is it getting any better for you? I know that the challenges are different now that you're all facing, but is it getting any better?
I think some more challenges came a few weeks ago when we were required to wear face masks. So that's brought an awful lot of challenges to the NHS. So whether you're in an office, so I'm not wearing a face mask at the moment because I'm in an office on my own and I've been risk assessed, so I'm okay. But if I'm sharing an office, then I have to wear a face mask, the corridor outside. So that additional level of PPE has brought some challenges. We've still got around 400 staff in the vulnerable category. So we're not able to start full services because we can't staff them at the present time. And in the last 2 weeks, we've had what's called black alerts, which means we've run out of beds. So the local community are no longer lacking the confidence to come into hospital. And we're now starting to get to the first stages. I know it doesn't feel like it, but our winter pressures usually start in the last 2 weeks of August and run through until next March. So it's different types of challenges now. I think if you were to ask a nurse in an isolated area where they're treating COVID patients, they would say it's just as bad. But because the NHS and healthcare professionals are learning every day, they're learning how to treat patients better every single day with the COVID infection. I think things are becoming more manageable, but it's now the challenge of dealing with COVID and dealing with a winter coming up and all the problems that occurs with that, and the flu campaign coming up, and making sure we can manage all those different challenges at the same time. That's the difficulty we've got coming towards us.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So that is going to be really hard for you again.
Yeah.
Okay. I promise not to come down. Will that
No,
help?
you can if you want.
And if you run out of masks, they do a great one in the Hornet shop.
Oh no, we've got tons of masks, but yes, I've seen them. There's a few people wear those ones, but we're required to wear surgical masks here, so we've got to wear them. Otherwise, I think we'd all have our own variations of masks on. Don't worry.
I have a Hornets mask. So,
Good.
Julian, do you have a Hornets mask?
I haven't. That's the one, about the only thing out the Hornet shop I don't possess. So I will get one with my white away shirt.
Yeah.
Good.
Excellent. Okay. Well, I think perhaps we're done. Do you not? Anybody else have anything else you want to say?
I think I've covered everything, Jill. Thank you very much.
So
Yeah,
to me,
can I just say my final thing? Obviously, you know, I think we're on here, sitting here smiling because we felt we'd got something good going together. You know, it's really about, as Andrew said in his opening thing, how we take this to the next level now. And I'm pretty sure it might not be at that level. We won't be forgotten about that. You know, our relationship will continue, but it should continue at a high level. You know, not necessarily at a high financial level, but relationships are not all about money, are they? But I think even Watford being in a community and family-based club, you know, opened our eyes as well for, you know, what the power of doing stuff and the power of people is huge.
Yeah, we're doing it together.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
We are.
And one thing we didn't mention, Jill, I don't know if you saw, I just showed you our new our away shirt, which is only because it's in my bag. We did have a little partnership last week, I don't know if you saw, with the launch of our home shirt.
I saw it.
Which we involved Andrew's team with, and we had to keep it secret for about a month, and we had a very late Sunday night, didn't we, Andrew?
Very late.
Filming that event, and it was a stressful night, and it was a stressful month, but we actually banged out a really nice video that was not tear-jerking, just a really cool, nice little video saying, here's the new shirt, different to anything anybody else had done. So we were very proud of that, what we'd done, because different is good in football.
Okay, so are you going to share that video?
It's on all social media platforms, so it went out last Thursday morning. Okay. So if you I'll send you a link if you send me. I'll send you the link. Yeah. Okay,
brilliant, thank you. Then perhaps I can tag it onto this.
Yeah.
As well.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Yeah. Okay. All right then. So now I have to do my other bit. So sorry. Okay. Well, I thoroughly enjoyed our chat today. I hope you have. Thank you for doing it for me. I'm sure that it's going to really show lots of people within the town just how amazing the relationship was between the two organisations and will continue to be, and also what an amazing community we have in this town. The charities across Watford are responding really, really well to unprecedented requests for help from people in the town since the outbreak. But right now, they need our support to ensure that their vital work can continue. So anybody who's listening to this podcast today, if you want to help your local community, if you want to make a donation to the Watford Helps COVID-19 Charities Appeal, then please do so. W3RT can ensure that the charities will be able to continue with that vital work, as every penny of the donation does go straight back to the charities. You can text donations, text Watford to 70970 to donate £5, or text Watford to 70191 to donate £10. And check out the website for the appeal, please, www.watfordcovidsappeal.org. You can see the work that's been done, you can see the money that's been raised and where it's been spent. You can see testimonials from charities that have benefited. You can see case studies, video case studies on there as well. Today, over £155,000 has been donated to the appeal, but we do need more. Over 35 charities in the town have been supported, or in Watford and Three Rivers have been supported with that money, but we need to be able to help them to continue doing what they do so well. So thank you Matt, Andrew, Julian. It's been lovely to have a chat with you, and I hope that one day we will all get together, and that one day there'll be lots of people at the football ground as well.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
See you later. Bye.
Bye.
See you all soon.
See you soon.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye bye.